We are live on our second episode on blowing your mind and fat loss. Uh, Super excited for this one today. To be honest, I am actually extremely excited. And before we actually start rolling forward in today's episode, would love to see and know who's actually tuning in. Hashtag in the comments below, by the way. Whether if you're tuning in whether live or on a replay, it would be awesome to see and to know from where which part of the world that you're from. Now, today we're going to be discussing a very important, very interesting topic that I'm actually excited about, and you'll come to see why I'm so excited for today. And this is more about it is about weight loss, but it's beyond nutrition, beyond exercising. It's something that is not really often discussed, but it deserves the importance and the importance and also the time to be discussed, because there might be or could be many of you out there who are struggling with weight loss or struggling in maybe in health and fitness in general, and not being able to live with the results that you truly want. So today I have a speaker who is going to be joining us today, and she's just about to pop through. Here she is, and we have today here Hannah. Hannah, thank you so much. You're all the way from, I believe, is it Queensland? Queensland. 1 second. I think I've just got you muted. 1 moment. Here we go. I think,
yes,
yeah, here we go. I can hear you now. Thank you so much,
Hello.
Hannah. Hello.
So yes, no, my pleasure. I'm loving your excitement. This is good vibes.
It is. I am actually excited for this one, for this particular event. And so grateful to have you here today, because you're going to be sharing with us some information that that I'm sure the viewers, the audiences will be learning so much from you today. No, I don't think my audience actually in general would know actually who you are. I don't have to met you or soon who you are, but what I'll do actually, I'll get you to introduce a little bit about yourself and what you do, and yeah.
Absolutely. So yes, I am from Queensland, Gold Coast, sunny Gold Coast. So it's amazing here. So I'll be really brief because I can talk a lot. I'm basically a health and fitness coach, online predominantly, and I've been that for about 10 to 12 years. And through the last 5 years, I have coached specifically through the methods of using genetic profiling to make it specific to someone's DNA, their lifestyle needs, and all of their epigenetic factors. And it's basically the game changer to why we can't find the one size fits all answer to fat loss, health, happiness, lifestyle. And I'm so blessed and grateful to have this as a human being. It's changed my life and really landed things that my instincts were telling me, but the world was neurotically conflicting with. And it's landed for my clients over and over. So yeah, I run biohacking masterminds and fat loss programs using these methods. And yeah, it's as I said, it's amazing, so and I live and breathe it. So.
No, so good. And I think you and I also understand the importance of nutrition, exercise. It's a lifestyle, and and they are very important, right? When we discuss specifically with specific goals, like such as weight loss, fat loss, but there is there's a population out there. There's a population out there where it just goes a little bit more beyond that point, because there could be individuals out there who are struggling with weight loss, example, or any other goal for that matter, and they could be on the right diet or so-called diet or nutrition plan. That could be exercising, doing everything correct, but results don't show up. Okay, I think we've lost Hannah. She will be. We'll get her back on the call. So yeah, we've been experiencing some. Here we go. Here we go. It's all right. It happens.
Yeah, I don't know what happened, but
No, it's
we
all
were
cool.
all gone.
It's all good. It's all good. I
All
don't know if you
right.
got the last part though. And I was just saying that basically is that nutrition and fitness is extremely, extremely important. You know, for weight loss, health, and fitness, whether general or goals that are very distinct. But there is a population out there. They're doing everything right, from nutrition, from exercise, and all these different areas that we normally discuss about, right? However, they don't see those results. They don't feel the results. That visually that they don't have those results, because there is something beyond that point is normally not often discussed. Something that we were discussing about some time ago, and it's really, really important. So I'm gonna actually, I don't know where to start with this, because I swear, like, it's so so excited. Yeah.
No, that's all right. We'll work together, because obviously, like, this is what I kind of have had my own personal journey with. So
Yes.
initially, I had a lot of issues with hormones, a lot of issues with even addictions when I was much younger. I'm 40 now, in my late 20s. I had to do a lot of changes in how stress and trauma kind of manifested through my body type. And I used health and fitness to turn down some of the bad things. I did a lot of personal development. But what I was really doing was lowering stress, and I was, changing those kind of outputs. But through my health and fitness journey, I left a high stress corporate real estate career, and then I went down the path of health and well-being for myself, because back to that foundation you said, we all feel better when we move right, when we eat right, when we do these right things. And so we've got this amazing, probably in the last 10 years, society that is more health conscious. We have more information based on the internet, good and bad thing, because 10 years ago, or like even 5-7 years ago, the science that we now have in the profiling that I do wasn't there. So people have accumulated all these failures, these, it doesn't work for me. How come it works for that person? And so we've now got studies proving why someone may be what we call a non-responder to a generic protocol. And that was my experience. I did all this work, all these right things, was a coach, was a trainer, and I'm still like, why do I not look like that? Or why do I not feel like that? Or why, when I'm more connected and happy and free, does my body fat go down, but I'm eating the right things at other times when that's not happening, and I'm gaining weight, or I'm feeling more fluidy? So all of these things that, as I said, made no sense because of how obsessed and how strict. And I had coaches I'd invest in bodybuilder coaches telling me I must be lying and I mustn't be diarizing it. And I'm like, I am like the most strict and like accurate person there is. And so I would have the same thing with my clients, and they felt like people didn't believe them. So me, as an intuitive coach and someone who reads people quite well, which is funnily in my epigenetic genius, I figured out that most of my clients had the same thing, and they were feeling, and I figured out that it was stress. So I just sort of found their stresses in their lifestyle and put all these, as I said, we can cherry pick now. We've got biohacking, we've got superfoods, we've got all this stuff that's amazing and looks like it should be the answer. But again, for the wrong person, kale could be doing the complete opposite, but be a superfood for another epigenetic expression. So this was where I finally got like the foundations of the puzzle, and I got to just niche down into what works for me, and I do the same for the clients. So sorry if that was a ramble.
No, that's okay. That's okay. Sounds awesome. That sounds awesome. No, and totally agree. Totally agree. And so for those who struggle in regards of hormonal issues, I'm doing everything right. What are some of the things that should be considered? What's being left out normally? I think we've got a bad line again.
100%. So, yeah. So You got me?
Yeah, I got you. Yep.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to talk in two things that make it really simplified. You got the principles of fat loss, and then you've got your methods. And I talked about this. And the principles of fat loss, this is where we're having arguments all over the internet. Is the maintenance, who needs to go to what calorie balance to lose fat? Your body, if it's not losing weight, obviously is not in a calorie deficit if it wants to lose fat. However, what we're finding with epigenetics is it's the rate of loss that varies for each DNA body type. Hence, you look at someone with a high metabolism, they're going to get better results. But what we're not doing is catering for this or understanding it, and we're giving up before we get the results, or we've got hormonal stresses that are blocking the metabolism and sort of slowing it down, and then you think you're in a deficit, but you no longer are. So that principle is there. I'm never going to tell someone that epigenetics is going to make you lose weight. However, it will if your method for your body type is suited to your full expression. And that could be where you're cellularly living is out of balance or in balance for your DNA. Whether you're meant to intermittent fast. So for example, if you're doing a method that puts more stress on your biology, you are going to block those principles from working, or it's going to feel like that. So this is where each body type has a hormonal profile that if we honor that and turn that happy hormone up and stress down, we're always going to have a better flow and a better application of the principles. Does that make sense in sort of summary?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it just shows or demonstrates the importance of that. Sometimes Google does not have all the answers, right? Or YouTube, because it's not personalized, right? Like often.
No, exactly. Yeah, 100%. And so when we personalize from say doing a profile as an end result, I can say, hey, your digestive system work much better with a slower start in the morning. If you're a certain biotype that needs to keep their stress low in the morning, but your trainer and your 8-week program tells you to go hard and smash it at 5 a.m., well, that's what suits your lifestyle, and you're raising your cortisol for the day and making it worth that. Again, is the stress hormone for anyone who doesn't know the basics of stress. Yeah, if that's elevated, you could get to the end of the 8 weeks and your body has gained weight or hasn't lost any, and someone else has got these amazing results, then you get to feel like a failure. You feel like things don't work for me, and then you probably give up, or you just feel bad about yourself, and we're just adding more stress. So I do a lot of things with reversing all this, but also just knowing your best DNA lifestyle methods is a game changer for the stress piece. Was I think that the key blocker, we need 8%, the right amount of stress, like about 8% of stress to get moving. But chronic stress for the wrong body at the wrong time is a very bad formula.
Yeah, 100%.
Hope that makes sense.
No, that does. It makes perfect sense, because there are some people like they prefer training in the mornings or at nights. And
100%.
And that really makes sense. Some people just can't train in the mornings, and I'm a morning person. I love to wake up early, train early in the morning, and I feel like I have this energy throughout the rest or remaining time throughout the day, right? And there are others who can't do it. They prefer evenings or nights. And that makes actually perfect sense. 100%. 100%.
Having the info means you've got certainty in your practice, and certainty is it's another lack of stress. Like there's so much neurosis accumulated when someone's on a fat loss journey. And sadly, the body types there's 3 specific body type ranges of DNA code that have genetics that react with weight gain and stress more so than others. And those poor body types are doing these things that are actually wrong for them. So they're then feeling bad about themselves. And we've got amazing things like the body love movement that are making people like self-accept, not compare, and love themselves. But I like to go a step further, because I've been through all of that in my journey as well. I've had eating disorders, as I said, addiction, sugar binging. I've been through it all. So I can literally see when a client's at a level of something that I've definitely been able to experience myself. But when you use this genetic stuff, as I said, it literally puts your puzzle together. You can throw away all the stuff that doesn't work. And even a slow and steady approach is actually these biotypes. No one wants to hear that sometimes because we are want it now society. But when you go slow, you go fast. Or if you have patience, you'll be quicker. And just as I said, when you've got the knowledge, the certainty's there, and that's a different way of acting. So yeah. So many people are, I hope this works, or and it's just because of all the failures.
That's right. You mentioned a few good points. I'm just making some notes. So there's so much incredible information, and no, there's so much information out there. There's so much knowledge out there. Information and knowledge are not the same, obviously, because not information is actually true knowledge, right? But with all the information that we can find online, I think it's over informative, I'd say. To the
100%, it's neurotic. Like you literally it contradicts itself.
100%.
And that's stressful in itself, and if you're a DNA brain type that loves all the details and you're consuming all the details that are incorrect, your outputs are going to be affected. So, I think, like you said, knowledge and information are different. And I think wisdom is what your body tells you instinctively. So I feel like what I've got in my hands is someone's human user manual. It's like, I literally get to unlock someone when they're like, oh, I knew I didn't like breakfast. It makes me feel heavy. I don't get as much clarity, but because this person said it's going to speed up my metabolism, it's the most important meal of the day, I listen to them. And then you've got a stress because your body's already telling you in its innate wisdom what it doesn't want to do. And then, as I said, we've had no clarity of that before. So it was trial and error. Which exactly. The great thing is there's so much info that when you get this baseline puzzle, you can cherry pick. So you can Google in a positive way once you know the foundations. So
100%, 100%, and it is trial and error. There is nothing out there to perfection, obviously. But what I would say is that I think one of the massive, I always actually talk about this, is that one of the biggest, if not the biggest mistake nowadays is that people are actually, or individuals are actually blindly following trends. So what happens is like, my mate was on a keto diet, my mate was on a Mediterranean diet or XYZ diet, and he lost weight or he gained muscle or looks better, healthier. So it has to work, right? And they do it, and then long story short, they're disappointed with the results. Not to say that keto doesn't work, but is it actually made for you? That's the question.
Well, exactly. And this is where, like, what we do, I forget, I mean, to give you again context in my journey, I tried every diet out there. I did all sorts of woo-woo stuff and stress reduction and anything I could do to get rid of my sugar addiction. And I did fasting and juice fasts, and I did all the holistic stuff. And I'm talking like 10 years before it was a popular thing, because I was just trying to grab onto anything to see what would work, not knowing. And, even when I studied the things I studied, it still wasn't the missing piece. So I'm like, this is the common feeling. There's something wrong with me, must be something wrong with me, must be me. That's right. Yeah, it's the actual protocol for the person. So keto can work for certain body types really well. Like I can't do more carb because I need enough for my brain dopamine, but I can't do too high carb because I have a very high, kind of insulin, like nearly pre-diabetes. So things like that, knowing this from my profile, I already figured most of it out, but I got this complete solid certainty about it. And as I said, it's like, that's why we're so conflicted, because the leader of that trend probably works really well with that, and so do the clients. But the key thing is, it sustainable long-term, not just psychologically, but physiologically, for what's best for you.
100%. Sustainability is key, because it should be a lifestyle, but how can it be a lifestyle if you cannot sustain it for the long term? So you maybe exercising, eating well whilst in the gym, when the coaches are around, when the people are watching. But what really actually happens when no one's watching?
100%. And look, like I said, I used to get told that I was lying, and a lot of my clients, because they have a body that can conserve energy, and by that I mean hold more body fat, people, they're not understanding their stress mechanisms. They're not understanding the lifestyle factors. You know how like sometimes it's like, oh, it's my job, that's why I can't lose weight. There is some truth to that, because if you're not expressing, say, your genius, and your DNA has a high reward system that needs like the serotonin reward or dopamine kind of receptors, and you're doing it in a way that's actually not positive to that hormone, you're actually doing the reverse of hacking. You're actually like stressing your biology, but you're still seeking what your body's baseline is needing. As I said, mine's oxytocin. So if I'm craving chocolate, for example, maybe I'm craving love and connection. So if I go and get love and connection, then I still want chocolate. That's a conscious choice. But if another body type's hormone is serotonin, it's seeking pleasure by having that dominant hormone. And as I said, this might go above people's head, but I want to deliver a taste of it, because when you know your body's baseline hormone, you can kind of hack it back into turning down stress. And as we know, we don't eat the rubbish, and we don't do the bad things, and we don't, we have a self-care when we're in our right thriving state. And you can't be in stress and thriving. And as I said, I think this is just the missing piece. Then the calorie balance just comes in, and you learn your body, and there's a whole bunch of principles and methods you can bring in with that. So that's what I kind of live for, because I had to do all of those angles myself, and now I have the science, and I wish it was here 10 years earlier.
Well, look, I mean, if anyone's listening, and you've been trying everything, like, absolutely everything that you can possibly find under the sun, and you are not experiencing the results that you actually want, it's not you. It's not you as the person. So, like, you don't want to feel bad about yourself. It's not like health or weight loss or fat loss is made only for some people.
100%.
Because I used to feel like that. I used to feel many years ago, I was over 120 kilos of absolutely nothing but fat cells, right? And absolutely. And after so many struggles, cravings and so many complications throughout the process, I finally managed to find a way. That is because, and that's what that is, right? It's about finding your way out. Because
100%.
I used to look at other people, observe from a distance, and I used to like copycat, right?
Yeah.
So I used to try and imitate here and there and the other. No results.
Yeah.
Finally, the method I had to adopt was uniquely for me.
100%. And I bet if we did your profile, you'd probably find so many, yep, that's me, that's why. And like, because your body is always telling you. And like I said, so many of the, say, intermittent fasting body types, we take away breakfast and they're like, oh, I feel so much more clear. I feel like, and their digestive system gets its rest, and it gets to, these are slower digesting body types. So that's just makes sense. All that load on the digestive system is putting too much pressure and stress on the body. So as I said, we want to feel light. And the other beautiful thing is knowing your body type. So we have a science system that now explains your body type, explains your hormonal profile. So for anyone who doesn't know, like, we talk about hormones, right? And someone says, I've got a thyroid issue or a diabetes issue or any of those things. So these are all hormones. And the area that you hold body fat, like let's say you lose all the weight and then the mud puddle dries up somewhere in your body. So, it could be your belly, it could be your hips, like, or where you first put on weight, can be very big indicators as to what hormonal profile you have, which this system will put together. But from a bodybuilding background that I've been in, that is something we learn way. And when you understand that, like, you can, like, I've got high estrogen. As soon as I'm stressed, my cortisol will steal from progesterone and my estrogen dominance will become more. I'll put on weight in the triceps and the muffin top, yet I'm being perfectly, but my fluid and my toxin kind of lack of eliminations showing up there. So this sounds like little things, but all of these together can simplify it. So there is the calorie, like, because people I think now on the internet are not validating the lifestyle differences and the hormone thing. Like, we've got some people saying, no, it's just calories in, calories out. They discount any hormone issues.
Yep.
Then you got hormone people just saying that and just, you know, eat this certain way and you'll lose weight. You still need a deficit. You still need the right protocols for your hormone profile. But
Exactly.
putting it all together, as I said, it's like that base power puzzle piece that you can cherry pick the things for your biology that are out there, and the internet is an amazing thing from that perspective. So that Google kind of
100%. And like what you said, calories in equating calories in and calories out. It's true. I mean, and it works for the general population. But what happens when you're stressed? What happens when you're going through anxiety? Okay, everything of the above, the calories in, calories out, your exercise plan, your nutrition, and so on and so forth, it holds no real substance of value. It won't produce the result. The reason being why is that, and speaking from experience, past experience myself, is that I remember when I used to get stressed out, I used to gain a lot of weight. I was training, I was eating healthy and doing everything right. Yeah, and weight gain, like a tremendous amount of weight gain, lacking in energy. But there might be some people out there who might be experiencing the opposite in regards of weight. Some actually may even lose weight. For me, it was weight gain. And over a period of time, and these are the symptoms, right? These are the symptoms to look out for. You know, and the binge eating, because what
100%,
happens?
like, as a
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, like, this is talking about fat loss, but then the other people on the other side of the panel, their nervous system, without the body fat to protect them and keep them safe, are really they can get quite amped up. They forget to eat because they're in adrenaline, and these are the people that need to eat regularly. So you think that just looking at a bakery and gaining weight is a problem, but so is someone who's supposed to eat regularly being so amped up in adrenaline because of their body type and forgetting to eat. So I have to place the people in the right kind of parasympathetic rest and digest by eating at the right times. And it really changes the game because it just turns your brain on, and then we turn the momentum the other way.
100%.
With the three body types that gain body fat under stress need to understand that their body in ancient times, this is the clincher that we talked about the other day, this DNA type was made for ancient times. There's three body types that hold fat more easily because in famine, they needed to be able to give away their food to the skinny people, and they needed to not starve. So these bodies would accumulate and hold more body fat. So their hormone profile from an evolutionary perspective has a high prolactin hormone. Now, prolactin is the giving hormone, so the breast milk hormone where a mum just gives away to the baby without expecting anything but baby vomit in return. That analogy, think about the body types that give and they don't put themselves first, and they're just, I can't believe I said I wasn't going to do that and I did it again, and their body's getting an adrenaline hit to keep its hormones happy. But what's happening is it's holding fat because it's thinking that the tribe's in stress in modern day. So it increases cravings to hold fat, slows the metabolism down. We've got the night owl, 7-Eleven or whatever, Quickie Mart, open at 2 a.m. if that's happening then, and you add food to that bad, cool kind of lowered metabolism, slow down conservation of energy. There you go, you're holding fat and you're like, but I've been eating not much and all this. So if we can cover those stresses, you're going to speed the metabolism up the other way, I call it, because you're going to not be blocking it. And then you're going to know what you need to do with those happy hormones instead of them leading you. Like, it's a real consciousness piece. Sorry to hijack that. I just think that's where that point.
I mean, I'm really actively listening to this incredible information, and I'm sure everyone's going to love it as well. And so good. And I was gonna highlight one big point is overcomplicating the process. How often do we overcomplicate the process? I say the simpler it is, the better the results.
100%. So for me now, I can't take the lens of what I see off, but if I simplify what I do or what we do as a like movement in epigenetics, we have 6 body types and we simplify it down to what's right for your body type, and you just stay in your lane
100%.
and follow that, and you'll get your results, and you'll be able to
100%.
sustain them. Yeah, that's the key factor.
100%, 100%. Simple is always best. It's always like gold. And the things to look out for, if anyone's actually listening, the things to look out for in regards of symptoms is tiredness, fatigueness, mental lack of conscious thinking, like being able to think consciously, and it might be clouded in the mind. Things like weight gain, stress, anxiety, binging foods. These are some of the symptoms. A
100%.
lot of the times, like, we feel that we are going through some level of stress, and we don't take it into consideration as a serious matter. It's only something very minor, right? And then what begins to happen, it begins to creep up onto you. And then by the time you get to the point where you're going through so many things, right? I wouldn't say it's too late, but what I would say, the sooner you tackle it, the easier it is. Now,
100%.
it's not
If we
not
can
because
turn that stress off, it's momentum the other way. That's the hardest part for people to turn it, because I look at it like this: as a seesaw of stress. Stress is up or thriving's up. You can't have like both at the same time. So when you understand how to turn up thriving, stress will go down. But what we live in is, I'm fighting stress. I'm so stressed that I'm addicted to my stress, and it self-perpetuates. What
exactly.
I look at it as I said, hack the thriving hormones. It will just turn down and dial down the stresses in your body type, which is everything you just
100%. 100%. And also, in general, what I want to say is this, for those who are listening, is that health and fitness is like rocket science for the most part. It's, but what has become and what has been prevailed nowadays, because with the over complicated or over informed information that we find online, people are just confused.
and they
Like,
give up. They
and they
throw it in because it's
exactly.
like,
And
it's
then yeah,
neurotic.
yeah, and then you basically just give up. And I swear I had so much to say.
Right.
No, but it's been really, really good, Hannah. It's been really, really good. If what I will do, I'll leave perhaps your Facebook link
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Anyone who wants to either reach out, or wants to get in touch with you, they have an easy access. Hannah, thank you so much. I
My
actually am so
pleasure.
grateful for you joining in. Would love to see you again in the future,
Yeah.
or soon future.
Yeah, absolutely. I love, as you can tell, I love talking about it. And even if people have specific questions, because I forget sometimes how it could go over people's heads, and trying to simplify it, like you said, our platform is so simplified that it's like, it's amazing. Like, it's so, all these DNA codes that are so scientific and back end, we've now been able to simplify what it means to your day, to your eating, everything. And as I said, that is just, people kind of, I think, want to recomplicate it, because but we're so used to being overstimulated in our minds. So
Of
I
course,
love what you
100%.
do, because simplifying it
100%. 100%. It's
and not
simplifying.
giving up on
It's
your
all, people are
journey.
not aware nowadays, because we've been over informed with conflicting and confused information. And
Yeah,
and one other thing as well is, don't ignore any of the symptoms, because think about what would prevail from that point. Think about your relationships. Think about
100.
if you have children, or children or family. Think about your finances. Think about your job, because I've seen horrendous things happen as a result of their overall health and fitness. When it declines,
Yeah,
everything else follows up. Think
don't
about
give
that.
up.
Yeah,
Well,
don't give up.
I mean, obviously, like, we don't want to have new relationships if we've got a family, but you can always
Of
have
course.
new relationships, new finances. But if you really ruin your body, I mean, I think everything is almost reversible. However, if you lose your health, you can't enjoy any of those areas. And it's just to have a high standard with yourself. And it might sound like, that's hard when you've given up, because everything is so hard. Like, and it's like I failed, not working, but I can promise you from my heart that it's out there, that you can solve your puzzle, and we have the science. You just may not know about it. Hopefully you can now get an idea,
That's
but
right.
do not give up on yourself, because you're
Never give
worth
up.
it. You know, that's
Never give
so
up.
the truth.
You never give up. You never fail, not until you actually stop working on yourself, right? So,
Exactly.
yeah,
And these cliches
exactly.
sound so basic, but it's true. And I can tell you this from the bottom of my heart, and it's just the truth being a coach. All of your failures at the point when you succeed are actually going to count so much for your journey, because you can really throw it away. You'll have reference points. And when you get the epigenetic side, you can see why that worked. And you can have this
100%.
really solid epiphany
100%.
moment. So,
Uh,
yeah.
for every failure is actually a lesson, bringing you closer to the
Oh,
goal. And
yeah.
it's just learning one new way, not how to do something, right? So it's only going to bring you
100%.
closer.
And like, we have a journey, like this is the human experience, and we can go completely off health and fitness topic, because
Yeah,
I'm
fine.
sure
Yeah.
but you know, from a standpoint of just being a creator, you have a journey, and you're supposed to take the steps, and everyone knows in their intuition what their next step is. And don't oscillate to an old identity. Go towards the identity you want to have, because it's there. And if you keep taking the steps, you will get there. I promise you. Like, I
100%.
believe in this so much as a coach.
100%.
Yeah, I had to do this all myself. Yeah.
100%.
So.
One step at a time, 1%
Yeah.
advancement. You know, imagine if you apply that every day, it's like
Exactly.
365% advancement, improvement, success, and yeah, we could go
Yeah.
on and on.
The time passes anyway. Do something that's like beautiful and loving for yourself, whatever word works for you, but one foot in front of the other. That's all we've ever got. One breath
Of
at a
course.
time, and every moment you can turn it around anytime.
100%. 100%. It's never too late. Believe me, it's never too late. Believe me,
Never.
if I did it years ago, anyone else can do it as well.
I hear you. And same, like I had addictions, and I'm talking from not being able to drink alcohol very well to sugar binging and bulimia, and all of that was the stress and trauma expressing
It
in
is.
my DNA type, which is high dopamine, which is the addiction hormone, in the wrong, in the stress state, not in the thriving state. Now I hack it in the positive way. And I have a weak liver detox pathway. So you add all of those negative things, I've got a lot of stress and a lot of stuff, and I'm so grateful. And at the time, for 10 years in my 20s, it took me so long to quit smoking and drinking, but they were the symptoms that I was coping with my DNA with. And it's a gift to have the ability to even have gone through all of that and have to fight so hard, and then fight so hard for this body to not, you know, hold so much weight and be in its best state. But I hold space for people, because I know it's not easy, but show up for yourself and just have a freaking standard.
Yeah, exactly.
My
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Love it. I absolutely love it. Loved every second of today's episode. And
Likewise. Thank you.
now, thank you so much, Hannah. I won't take much of your time. I'm so grateful that you spent some of your valuable time today with us.
Thanks for having me on.
Thank you so much. And you are very, very welcome. Very, very welcome. Awesome stuff. Any final words, final thoughts, final anything?
No, I think we got a bit passionate at the end, and we kind of both, you know, cheered everyone on with, you know, don't give up. The answers are there. And if you, as I said, this is the piece that I always saw, regardless of using epigenetics or not. If you create the possibility of the thing you want and you don't give up, you will see that the answer was either there all along and you were blocking it, or you will actually turn around and call it in. So maybe that's the message today. You were meant to watch for some reason, but just as I said, you'll get what you're looking for.
100%.
So.
Totally agree. Hannah, thank you so much. It's been amazing.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much. You're welcome.
See you all soon.
Bye. See you. Bye.
All right. Bye.
Awesome stuff. It's been awesome, and I'm blown away. I hope you're blown away as well. I hope you have have gotten a lot of value out of today's episode. Thank you so much for everybody tuning in today, and stay tuned for next week's episode. We'll be updating you on the topic. Woo! I'm so blown away. Awesome. In the meantime, take care, and we'll see you again in the next episode, number 3, on blowing your mind in fat loss. I hope I have blown you away. That's always the intent, and see you again on the next video.